topics of conversation for that person because they really understand you. Your spouse maybe doesn't share this interest. Maybe there's a song, the two of you like this kind of music, but your spouse doesn't really care to listen to this kind of music. So in that process, you just begin to say something. You might even share spousal difficulties with the idea of getting advice from a member of the opposite sex. They might even share spousal relationship difficulties. You might anticipate seeing this person more than you anticipate seeing your spouse. You see your spouse at the two worst times of the day. But when you see this person, they're dressed, they're smiling, their hair's done, they don't have a lot of responsibilities for you to do, they're not barking orders, they're happy to see you too. I mean, it's really easy. Okay? You even compare the spouse to the friend. You even say things like to this kid, oh, if Bill would just talk to me like that, I'd be a lot better wife or whatever the case is. So you might even provide special treats for the friend. You might be out buying Starbucks or something and you think, I know they like this. So you buy one, just take it as a gesture of kindness. We're not talking about seduction. We're not trying to talk about getting somebody into bed. We're just talking about building a little network, innocently and ignorantly. Very important to remember those words. You might even become concerned about this person more than your spouse. I see it all the time. I say this to guys all the time. The same thing goes for you. You're in a worship team. You're singing songs together. The person standing next to you, this guy standing next to you, he's got a real froggy voice. He's not feeling well. He might even have a little runny nose. You reach over and get a Kleenex for him and hand it to him. You haven't done that for 20 years with your spouse, okay? You haven't. You're full grown, take care of yourself. I've got too many people, want too much from me. Leave me alone. I mean, seriously, it's very easy to become more concerned about this. You might fantasize about marriage with this person. You might even spend more alone time with this friend, not intentionally, but just more alone time than you spend with your spouse. It's easy to do in this culture. You work together. You sing together. You run together. You work out at the gym together. You maybe work at a food line or a place to help the poor, or you teach Sunday school together. More alone time with this person than you actually have with your spouse. And your spouse cannot access all your conversations like they used to. 15 years ago, if you wanted to talk to somebody privately and they called you home, you grab the phone, you pull the antenna up, you walk across the room into another room, and then talk. That's not true anymore. They can text, tweet, see you on Facebook, they can send you email, all kinds of things your spouse just doesn't have access to. Like the one guy who just got fired from a Christian institution last month that I worked with who spent 3,600 texts to a girlfriend in 1 month's time. Now that guy was busy, okay? Busy. You can't spend money without your spouse's awareness. Very easy, especially if you're a guy. And you've got a single mom at work or someplace, and she's having money, a hard time making gas and paying, buying groceries and things. So you give her $20, but you don't tell your spouse about it because it would generate a lot of hostility or anger. You might even have conflict with the spouse. You might argue, saying, you know what, he's after you. I can see the way he looks at you. Or she's hitting on you. You can even lie to spend time, such as saying you have to be somewhere a half hour early or a half hour late, just so you can spend extra time with this person. You might hide interactions with this person from your spouse by saying to this friend, you know, my spouse thinks that you and I have something going, so tomorrow when we go to church, I don't want you to look at me, I don't want you to smile at me. If you see me coming down the hall, go the other way, because she's going to be watching. And so you begin to hide interactions with this person away from your spouse so they don't become upset with you. You might accuse the spouse of jealousy. That's always the big gun. And then you might develop special rituals with this friend. Certain times you send emails to them. Maybe you meet the break time, have coffee with them. Just little support systems, not seduction. Just a web of support that you gradually create here. With no intention, no evil, nothing really wrong with most of it. And then you begin to do what we call corporate dating. In some cases, you get on an airplane, the two of you, and you go to a different city, and you check into a hotel, and you drink more alcohol than because your company's paying for it. You eat meals you could never afford to have with your spouse. And you go to entertainment venues, you haven't taken your spouse out on a date in years. And then you go back to the same hotel tonight. Now that has all the components of a corporate date. A date period. talk about this web of support. Go.
What do you say?